Behold the majesty of our spider pavilion. Shawna here tells me that you've never seen a spider pavilion. My name's Brent the Bug Guy, and I'm one of Shawna's supervisors here at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County. And behind me is our spider pavilion. It's a pavilion structure that is home to butterflies in the summer months and spiders for about 6 weeks in the fall. So if you blink, you sometimes miss it. We're actually closed for the season, but I've still got some spiders in there, so if you want to see what it's all about, come on, follow me. We've only been closed for 3 days, and already we are tearing it apart and getting it ready for next year's butterfly pavilion. But before we go into the actual spider pavilion, I would like to tell you that this is an area dedicated to a programming space for the animals we talk about. This is a space dedicated to all sorts of live spiders and their relatives. We talk about the tarantulas, many of the other kinds of spiders that people won't otherwise see in an area like the spider pavilion. We talk about dangerous spiders, good spiders, and all the while there's staff here to help people out. It's actually a pretty dynamic space. Sorry you missed it. Let's go in the actual spider pavilion. Spider pavilion. Welcome to the spider pavilion. Now, if you've ever been to a butterfly pavilion, you'll know that you walk through doors just like these ones here, and there's going to be butterflies flying all over the place. One of the differences between a butterfly pavilion and the spider pavilion is you don't at first notice that there's actually spiders in here. When we are open and during peak season, there's about 500 to 600 spiders hanging around in here. And the ones that we deal with mostly, the orb-weaving spiders, the ones that make a nice round web. Think of Charlotte. In fact, Charlotte's right near me. You might not know it right now, but if you look just up this way, there's one hanging here already. This is an argiope spider, or sometimes called a writing spider, because of the zigzag stabilimentum that it puts in its web. Pretty fantastic looking beast, and just one of the many spiders that we showcase. It's not behind glass, all wide out in the open. And if you think this is cool, I got some other nifty stuff to show you too. Now, if you want to find all the spiders we have here in the spider pavilion, you got to start looking in the bushes, sort of where I'm hanging out. And before you know it, there'll be one hanging right in front of your nose, sort of like this one right here. This is one of our common orb weavers. We stock a lot of the spider pavilion with stuff we find just locally here in Los Angeles area. This one here belongs to a genus called Neoscona. It's Neoscona crucifera if you want to be real scientifically geeky. But we just call it a common orb weaver. And they're all over the place. In fact, I'm sitting amongst about 5 or 6 of them right now. There's one just to my left, one just to my right, one just above me. But I figure this is the one you can probably see the best. We also have a few other cool ones that I want to show you. Check it out. Can't see the spider? Not all of our spiders are visible during the day. That's why the staff in the pavilion is really important, because they actually help to get to show the visitors a lot of the stuff the visitors might not at first see. Right up here there's a jewel spider hanging, and that's what they like to do. I'm going to see if I can sort of usher her out a little bit. There she comes, and get her down to where her web actually is. This cool looking thing right here is a jewel spider, or an Araneus. You can often tell because there's some of the ones with the big humps on their abdomen. They're another integral part of what we've got going on here, and pretty big, impressive looking things. Harmless too. One of the best things about the spider pavilion. You don't have to be scared of anything. I was touching it with a tweezer earlier, mostly just so that I don't squeeze it a lot, but you can even get these things with your finger. There's really nothing they'll do. So I told you the spiders were getting more impressive as we go. This here is one of North America's largest orb-weaving spiders, called Nepheloclavipes, or a golden silk spider. I actually get to go to places like Louisiana and hang out in the swamps once a year and actually get these. I have some other friends who go out and catch them for me too. But proof of 2 things. Number 1, we have some pretty impressive spiders in the spider pavilion. And number 2, the other important part is exposing people to these animals so that we can start breaking down some of their fears and misconceptions. Gallery interpreters here inside the pavilion are routinely doing exactly what I'm doing right now, which is handling the odd one. Spiders, even orb-weaving spiders, do not always sit on their webs. There are periods where they don't have a web to sit on. During those times, we can easily pick them up in the hand and show them off to people for an up-close and personal experience. Pretty darn cool. So yeah, there's workhorse animals, and then there's wow animals. And even a spider pavilion's got to have some wow animals. Just to my right here, check out this giant wood spider, Nephila maculata from Southeast Asia. As big as a big chocolate chip cookie. That's my hand. That's the spider just in front. This is the largest orb-weaving spider in the world, and we have them on display here at the Spider Pavilion. One of the neatest things about it, this spider can make a web up to 10 feet across. Fishermen in native areas will actually take the silk made by this spider and use it to help them catch fish. This silk is the strongest fiber, biological fiber known to man. It has 5 times the tensile strength of steel and will stretch up to 1/4 of its length. All the cool teaching things we can do here in the Spider Pavilion. So one of the big questions we get all the time, does the spider bite? Well, of course it bites when it eats. And one of the coolest demonstrations that we do here in the Spider Pavilion is the feeding demonstration. We do a lot of different feeding demonstrations here at the Natural History Museum, but the ones with orb-weaving spiders at the Spider Pavilion are really fun. Here's a little vial I have some crickets in. Let me pull one out and try feeding this Argiope spider right beside me. With any luck, she's a hungry one. Now she's got it. Notice how she wraps it up. She doesn't even run down right away and bite it. This idea that these spiders are these monsters that want to rip their fangs into anything. No, she's actually scared of her food because the food can do her a lot of harm. So it's in the best interest of an orb-weaving spider to approach its food cautiously and then use its silk, its other weapon from its rear end, to help immobilize it. Only after it's wrapped up will the spider actually make a bite to help actually start to digest the animal, at which point she'll have her own little doggy bag which she can feast on all day. So that was a quick and dirty tour of our Spider Pavilion. Hopefully some of you will get a chance to fly out here to LA and check it out next year, September and October. I think right around Halloween, spiders should come to mind. Shawna and I have some other cool stuff to actually show you inside. Let's go do it, Shawna.